Hey, welcome back to Coffee Talk with the Listing Pros in Real Estate. My name is Joe Sonona of Sonona Speaks Seminars, and this week my guest is Sher of the Sher team.
Yes, sir.
Of Coldwell Banker Residential, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Great day
How's
today.
real estate?
Real estate's booming.
There you go. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Zach. How many years you've been in the business and what's going on?
Sure. So I started real estate about 3.5 years ago. It'll be 4 years in July. I started off on a team. I was with Remax, and then from there left the team, started my own team, and then went over to Coldwell Banker.
Excellent. And how is it going so far?
It's going fantastic. We hit a pretty big milestone last year. We ended up being one of the top teams in Coldwell Banker in New York State and also Long Island. So very proud of my team. We did very, very well last year.
Congratulations. And there's two other milestones that you're being bashful about. And I believe you won the top 20 under 40.
Yes, I was a top 20 under 40 agent for the YPN.
For YPN, for those of people that don't know, YPN is Young Professionals Network for the Long Island Board of Realtors. And there's some really, in addition to yourself, there's some other superstars there that we're going to have on this program soon.
Sure.
And those we've already had on this program. But now you recently got another award from Coldwell Banker. What was that?
That was one of Coldwell Banker's top honors, basically for teams or individual agents that do $1 million GCI or more over a year get that award. And that was the award that we got for this past year.
That's great. Congratulations. So tell me, you're a lister, and
Yes.
A lot of people are out there wondering how to list homes, especially new agents to the business and seasoned agents that have been in the business. And I guess what is on everybody's mind is what's the secret sauce to becoming a good lister?
It's funny. Everybody's secret sauce is probably a little bit different, but I think it really always boils down to, whoever's going to work the hardest. There's plenty of ways to make opportunities for yourself to list homes and get those, the listing appointments in general. But at the end of the day, you have to work harder than the person next to you. And that's kind of the foundation of, my business. When I started, I was predominantly working with buyers, but as more and more time went on, started working my network, got a lot of referrals, advertised, and spent a lot of money on myself to generate more leads. And that's kind of what helped get me into listing a lot of properties. And more and more so, kind of showing the team the same philosophies to help them be able to do the same thing. Just this morning, one of my team members, Carrie, she just listed a house over in Bohemia. And I literally just got back here in time from a listing appointment in Stony Brook. So it's definitely it's a hot market out there. I can't remember a February that was ever, well, now we're in March. So can't remember this year that was, this busy. It's definitely been, an incredible time.
It certainly is. So, so what is your advice for new agents getting into the business? Do they have to have a certain amount of money? Do they have to have a budget? You talked about a budget, about investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So, you don't have to have a certain amount of money. The biggest thing with real estate is, you have to just have a commitment to it and then, be able to want to invest into yourself. So when I first started, my first 6 months, I did about 6 transactions, but then the following year I did about 40. So the reason for the jump in between is basically what I did is I took a lot of the money that I made from my commissions. And again, I was on a team, and I'll get back to that in a second, but I took a lot of the money that I made and then reinvested it in myself through marketing, promotion, and then generating leads through a lot of different ways. You can generate leads. There's a ton of different companies that are out there. There's, your Zillows, your realtor.com. But one of the biggest things that I've utilized is social media. Social media advertising is just, blown up, for myself and my team. But that's one of the biggest things I think for new agents. If you don't have a strong background in sales, or you haven't been doing, real estate for a long time, I think starting off on a team is a great way to get started. And it also, for a career, there are plenty of agents that stay on teams forever. And I think that's kind of the direction that most agents are going to start going. I think it's going to be on a team or to have your own team, because it's tough to do this on your own. I'm sure you can, attest to the fact that it's almost impossible to do everything that we do by ourselves. You really need, assistance, for other people. And it's great to be able to bounce ideas off.
Tell me, what is your background do you have a background in sales? Do you have a background in finance, advertising?
Advertising. So I went to school. I got my undergraduate degree in digital arts and design from, at the time, CW Post, and then I went and got my master's from NYU in graphic communication management. So I started off by building my own advertising and marketing business. And I was also consulting at a few different companies. And it definitely helped me tremendously to know, because at the end of the day, marketing a company and marketing yourself are very similar, and being able to put myself in front of as many people as possible is kind of the exact same thing as getting a business out to as many people as possible. So that foundation really helped me jumpstart myself. Branding is so huge for me. I have my logo, my face pretty much everywhere I possibly can, because at the end of the day, it's all about recognition. And, as agents, our face, is our brand.
Agents often ask me, new agents in general, I do a lot of training with new agents. So they're often curious as to how to get started, which you've touched upon. But, now you're a full-time agent. And that's pretty scary for a lot of new agents just starting on, because they have to take this tremendous amount of risk, and they have to invest a lot of money into their business. Is there anything you can speak specifically to that, of your own experience and now going forward in your, was it, you said third or fourth year?
It'll be my fourth year in July. It is a huge jump, and it's a huge risk, and it's so different than a lot of other, professions you can have, because at the end of the day, there's no salary here, there's no health benefits. So if you're not selling, you're not eating, and that's, for myself, I thrive on that. I love having my back to the wall. What I found is that, when I started, I kind of fell backwards into real estate, to be honest. I was working full time. I had my own advertising company that I was doing on the side. And then I was teaching full time at a couple different universities. Nice. So it was the kind of thing where in the summer, I decided to get my license, and I'm like, I'll do a few transactions here or there. I knew I was going to start flipping a few houses, so I wanted to be able to list them myself. So that kind of was how it started. And then it just snowballed, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So what I can say is, don't cut everything off right away. Make sure you have some sort of an income coming in, whether it's a part-time job or something, because then the need to make the sale will be a little bit less, because it comes off. If you're with a buyer, you're with a seller, and it just seems like if you don't make that deal right then and there, your life's going to fall apart. They can feel that. So it's got to be, have that right mindset throughout. So, if you're not bringing in anything else, it's very, very difficult to be successful in real estate. But then once you start finding that success, jump on top of it, burn the bridges behind you, burn the boats, as they say, and just start going.
That's a good advice. Good advice. Tell me, what technology do you use to market your listings? Do you have any special technology?
There's a lot of different things that we do. I work with a couple different companies that help market and advertise, because what I've found over time is that I typically like to do everything myself. But, I'm only one person, and now, I have a team of 11 other agents. So my time gets spread out quite thin. So I work with a couple of companies that help us advertise, but I spend a lot of my marketing dollars on social media, putting it out through Facebook and Instagram predominantly, and then also through Zillow and Realtor.com are, the big ones that we're using right now. But we also love, to do a lot of different things for our listings, like videos, We've done a few different ones for each of them, depending on the listing. There's not always enough time in the day, to do a video for every single one of them, but we like to feature and showcase our listings when we can.
And how many people on your team?
There's 11 other agents currently on my team.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. The same kind of thing happened with my team. I didn't envision having a large team when I started it out. It was really just myself and one of my very good friends, Carlos Salinas, when we started the team. It really kind of just boiled down to, I was going off on my own, and then he was getting into it right around, right around the same time that I was looking to start a team. He had just gotten his license, so we kind of formed it together. And then over time, people kind of just found us. I've never recruited. I've only had agents come to me, for help or for guidance. And that's just, I feel like it's just the teacher in me, where I like to help and I like to, help others succeed. So when people have reached out to me, if it made sense and it made a fit, I brought them in on the team to kind of help them grow, because I can teach anybody to become successful if they have that drive and dedication. That's the one thing that you really can't teach, that fire to want to do it. But I love working with people that have similar mindsets in that regard.
Is that, Zach, is that a good start for a new agent that's coming on board to join a team such as yourself, and then get that mentoring, get that guidance, that shadowing?
I think so, because if you're starting off on your own and you don't have any background, it's almost like you're reinventing the wheel. You're trying to figure out how to do things that have been done thousands, if not millions of times over. Selling a house and doing what we do, it's not an exact science, but there are a lot of different ways to do it. And if you're out there kind of just trying to figure it out on your own and kind of figuring out your own way, you might spend twice as much time getting the result that someone could just tell you. So if you're starting on a successful team, you could at least have a team leader or other team members that can be mentors to you, to kind of show you, the ways to do certain things. But, at the end of the day, every agent is different. Everybody's going to have their own way they want to do things. And the way that I have found success is I've kind of looked at what's worked from, a number of different agents, kind of made it my own and made it what works for me. Some agents like to go door knock, some agents like to cold call, some agents, they do a lot of different things. I've taken the best that I feel that work with myself, and I, execute them as best that I can.
And what is the best?
I don't think there's a right answer.
This is coffee talk, and we're going to reveal some secrets here.
For myself, I like being in front of people. I have a little bit more of a difficult time, trying to connect with somebody for the first time over the phone. I've never been a big cold caller personally. I would rather see somebody. So, for me, meeting with a lot of people, I can't tell you how many open houses every single weekend. I love open houses because it's the easiest way to get in front of.
You want to do mine?
What's that?
I said, do you want to come to Long Beach and do mine?
It might be a little bit of a hike, but I do have a listing over in Oceanside and New Hyde Park. So, I do go the gamut, for Long Island. But
where is your market, by the way? Where do you focus mostly?
We're mostly, kind of central Suffolk. My office is in Smithtown. I live in Three Village and Setauket. So all over really that area, a little bit further eastern Suffolk, but we go everywhere.
Nice. And you're a family man. You're married.
I am.
You have 2 kids, right?
I do. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Congratulations. I think the youngest is how old now?
He's 6 months. My little guy, Hendrix.
I knew it was almost new.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. Awesome. And can I ask a personal question? Do you that fire you always say when you have your back against the wall? I'm sure that's your why, because that's your family you're trying to support. And for a family of 4, like I have a family of 4 on Long Island, it's quite difficult for us realtors to, depend on our commissions and to get us by, and we have that supportive wife that basically is there to say, hey, you know what, all right, he's making money and I'm gonna be his driving force, I'm gonna be his inspiration. So kudos to us for having supportive wives, right?
Yeah, Yes, it's mandatory.
It's mandatory. Oh, we froze a little
And
bit.
you have to have
Oh, there you
but
go.
our schedules are crazy. They
Okay.
never, it's never the same thing. It always changes, and it's very, very, very demanding. But what's great about this career, and kind of why I shifted over to it, is for quality of life. I read a book a while back, and I'm not a huge reader. I'll be, upfront about that. But one of the books I read, it was 4 Hour Work Week from Tim Ferriss, and he talked about how to utilize your time better, to work smarter, not harder. But I kind of, again, utilize that philosophy to do both, work smarter and harder. But be able to block out my time in such a way so that I have time for my family. Right after we get off this call, I'm going to go hang out with my kids. I'm working from home right now, so I'm going to spend an hour with them before I go back out and do the rest of my appointments. But it's
Do you
important to
listen
have
to
that balance.
motivational speakers to get you going on a week to week basis?
A little bit here and there. One of my biggest mentors, who I've always looked up to, is actually my father, and he's an entrepreneur through and through, and so is my mother. Both of them have been such a huge influence on my life. And I really kind of look to them, for my inspiration. But I also surround myself with a lot of very successful people as well. And I try to keep successful, positive people, around me. My manager, Karen Hendricks from my office, is such a fantastic person. She inspires me, on a daily basis too. So I try to surround myself with the right kind of people.
So in real estate, aside from your parents, aside from your manager, who is your who do you look up to as far as your mentors? Do you have special mentors that helped you along the way or are still helping you?
My first team leader, Rita from Remax, Rita Takaris, she was a big influence on me. She helped kind of get me started, give me the foundation that I needed to get off and going. And then, from there on out, it's really just been, the people that I've surrounded myself with. So right now, my biggest real estate mentor, would be Karen. She's, very
Right.
tremendous. She's helped me with quite a bit. But, other than that, it's been my team, my team mentors as well. I mentor them and they mentor me. We bounce ideas off of each other. Like I mentioned before, my good friend, Carlos. He's been one of my friends since college, and we bounce ideas off each other every day. I speak to him every single day, and we talk about different issues that are going on and different ways that we can help each other and the team. So we have that as well.
This program, when I first started Coffee Talk, it was intended to bring out the laws of agency, to show people how we abide by our laws, our fiduciary duties to our consumer. If you had to pick one fiduciary duty, and I'll help you along with this, but I know you being the professional you are, understand the obedience part, the loyalty part, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, and reasonable care. But if you had to pick one of them, what would be one of the best ones you can pick, like that you could say, hey, I've mastered this in the 3-4 years that I'm doing this, and I want to continue to, or is there something you want to master in one of those fiduciary duties?
I think one of the most important ones that you mentioned is loyalty. And I feel that that's something that's so important, and understanding what loyalty actually means during a transaction. You have your loyalty to whoever you're representing, and it's so important to do what's best for them and not necessarily for yourself. So what I found, and one of the things that I speak with, especially with buyers, it's a thing that I tell them all, is, I'm not looking to help you find a house. I'm looking to help you find the house. So I'm not just going to try to make a sale. I'm not just going to try to, get it done. I don't, typically I don't like just showing a buyer one house and having them put in an offer. I don't usually feel comfortable with something like that. I want them to get a feel for the market. Obviously if they find their dream home on the first house, hey, so be it. But my loyalty to my buyers and sellers is something that I truly feel passionate about, and it's about doing what's right for them.
And it shows, by the way, because I've seen your social media, and you tell like a story in every post that you put on there, and it's almost as if I know you that way. This is our first interview together, but I feel as though I've met you now in the last couple of months, and I'm known you. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
kind of weird because if I had to recommend somebody in real estate out there, and I always talk about us as being colleagues and not competitors,
Of
so
course.
that we all help one another to try to succeed. And I think there's enough inventory out there to let us all succeed in the industry. The perception of the consumer of us is not one that holds the highest esteem, like an attorney or a doctor or any other high collar profession.
Yeah.
So but we do have a pretty difficult job, don't we?
We certainly do, and it's definitely it's not, nobody should get into real estate because it's easy, and that's what a lot of people do. They think it's an easy job.
I'm
Certainly
going to
not.
come back a little bit. You were a teacher. What did you teach before you became a realtor?
I taught graphic design, web design, marketing, and advertising, and a little bit of game design when I was, transitioning out.
Do you tie your background into your current profession a lot? Do you find you borrow from things that you've learned?
Every day, I really do. So again, through kind of teaching, it's the same philosophy with my team. I'm there kind of teaching, mentoring, and helping. With my design background, pretty much every marketing piece you see, I've personally designed it myself, down to my logo, down to everything else like that. I use my background for that as well, but I use it every single day. I feel like, some people usually think, all the different jobs they've had in the past and all the different things that they've done, are a waste of time until they figured out exactly what they want to do. But I feel completely different. I feel that the path that I took to get here is what's made me successful. And if I didn't do it the way that I did, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Right, right. And that's pretty much my background was teaching as well.
Okay.
You would never know it, but I used to teach English, and I
Oh yeah.
majored in education. So I use the philosophies of the great writers to bring about expression in, whether it's in written expression on a remark column, to try to jazz that up. I don't have a degree in marketing. I wanted to go back to college to become a marketing something, because I figured I needed that in order to list more. But then my first broker told me, he says, you don't need it. Everything you're going to learn is going to be hands-on. You're going to get the experience and gain the experience just by, looking at other people's listings and gaining the jargon and test driving that verbiage in your listings. And he was so right, because he saved me a lot of money too. But I love real estate. I love passion in my colleagues that have the same passion. And that's the reason for this program, is to inspire others to stay in our business. And guys like you who are killing it out there with not just your productivity, but your reputation as well.
I
And
appreciate
to
that.
have several people already in the YPN on this program has been truly an honor for me, because I think we met indirectly at YPN at that top 20, because there
Yes.
was so many people there. And I remember you going up to getting your award. And then in the same breath, Beth Lowe, who was the president then, she
Yeah.
gave me the Young at Heart Award. And that was even more of a surprise. So I feel very connected to YPN, and I'm so honored to have people like yourself on this program.
I definitely appreciate that, and it's an honor to be able to do something like this with you. You have quite a reputation for yourself as well.
Thank you, thank you. You're going to go very far in your career. I trust that you will always maintain your integrity, because you are an integrity kind of guy, and that's what the consumer's looking for. The consumer's looking for no BS, no fluff. And of course, our laws of agency have always been the foundation of our businesses. So is there anything else you'd like to inspire younger people, younger agents, people getting into the business in general with?
Yeah, just get out there, hit the ground running. Don't put roadblocks in front, of your way of doing things. Everybody can think of an excuse to do it tomorrow, to do it later, or you have to do this before you do that. You're going to learn more in real estate just by doing it. Don't be afraid. Go show some houses, go, make some phone calls, knock on some doors, do some open houses, just do it. You learn by doing. It's the best way to do it. So just work harder than anybody else.
And one last question, just to share with others. You have a vision board, right? What is your vision for the next 5 years? That's a loaded question, I know.
It is. I mean, I kind of look at things, short term and long term at the same time. Obviously each year I like to exceed where I'm at currently. So every single year I want to do more transactions. I want to help more families. I want to earn more, commission and, build my team. So over the next 5 years, it's tough to tell. I want to continue growing. I want to help more agents. I want to help more people, sell their homes. My goal last year was to pick up my first rental property. I've flipped 2 or 3 houses every year with a good friend of mine who's also an agent. And thank you. Good friend of mine who's also an agent, my father and my brother-in-law. So we do about 2-3 houses a year. But I wanted to pick up my first rental property for myself. And then, my goal for each year is to, again, kind of do the same thing, exceed the previous year. So this year, the goal is to have 2 rental properties and to flip about 5 or 6 houses.
I see a lot of agents doing that these days, like guys like John Barron McSherry has been on this program, and he does a lot of flipping. And I know that Charles Weinrob is having this big conference coming up soon on how to flip, and it's going to be something to really see. And I hear that the tickets are going really quick on that one.
They are.
But Zach, I want to wish you all the best, all the success and I truly, this has been a great honor to have you on this program. Your reputation is out there in a very positive way. A lot of people, a lot of agents have looked up to you. You've actually inspired agents to go on their own who have been on this program, and they're doing successful. So it's sort of like your candle is burning other little candles out there, which is awesome.
It's very rewarding, and I appreciate all the kind words. I thank you very much, and I appreciate you taking the time to have me on, and very much enjoyed my time here.
You got it. This is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, presenting Coffee Talk this week with Zach Sher, and I want to thank you again for being on the program.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.